Amerikadagi ta'lim sohasida eng kuchli birinchi raqamli universitet Vanderbilt University'ga to'liq $372,000 grant sohibiga aylandi.
Welcome to our first class. I am Jamshidbek, Izzatulloh. I want to give a brief introduction as to what you are here for. This is a project founded by one of my students who took an essay program last year and who has been trying to come up with a project idea and who's been trying to help the society. So whenever we teach a student at IVBEC, we try to make sure that they are a useful person to the society, right? And therefore, we ask all of our students to come up with an idea, a project, or a passion project which serves good for others. And one of my students, Eldor, has come up to me with the idea of helping people be better at landing jobs, landing internships, representing themselves better. And I really like the idea and I wanted to contribute to it. And he asked me to come to the project and to help people alongside him to better land jobs. Although I've never had this landing job experience, this class is not going to be about landing jobs, obviously, because the founder of the project wants to connect getting admitted to top universities to the topic of landing jobs. So I'm going to be mainly focusing on the first half, which is getting into top universities. If anybody does not know me yet, I am Jamshidbek, who got into Vanderbilt University, which is the best university in the fields that I want to pursue in the US. Specifically, I will be majoring in cognitive studies and child development as a double major, and I'm also considering a data science as a minor. In this process of getting into universities, I've been in the admissions field for the past 5 years. I've been taking SATs, working on my extracurriculars, building a college admissions profile for the past 5 years. And I have applied to dozens of universities, got rejected by so many of them, but eventually got into a university which now has an acceptance rate which is lower than Yale. So our university is more difficult to get into compared to Yale, according to statistics, according to the acceptance rate, recent acceptance rate to the class of 2030. So today's class is mainly going to be focusing on personal branding. I'm glad to announce that we are getting started with the very first class as a guest speaker myself for the SkillSell, who aims high school students get into top universities and who helps graduate students land their first jobs. So, presence, let's go. Presence is what we're going to be talking about. It's about online presence. It's about presence as a person when you represent yourself to the university or when you represent yourself to your future employer. The architecture of how you are perceived. Now, as I have just mentioned, Vanderbilt University, Peabody College, I am the founder of miashanaz.uz, which was a high school project that I did back in the day. And I also started a research project called Research Compass before it was unfortunately had to be stopped. But that's one of the things that I had. And I also have been working as a public speaking mentor for a long while now. I am one of the very first people who brought TEDx into Uzbekistan. I was actually the very first high school student who organized a TEDx event here in Tashkent. And yeah, I've spoken to thousands of students over the years. People who are preparing for admissions know me very well, and they constantly ask questions regarding college admissions. And I try to help students as part of the Ivy Back Academy. We help students get into top universities, including MIT, which was historic last year. 2 of our students got into MIT, in addition to so many other universities in the US, in Qatar, in Hong Kong, and in many other parts of the world, right? So, and from my experience, I had to look at a number of different cases, and I'm going to be sharing what I have learned over the period. So today I show you the exact way of how people remember me and how people should remember you. Now, so today's agenda is the following. What we built today, there are 4 steps into it. The first one is premise. The second one is the system. The next one is the wraps, then the mandate. If these words don't make much sense to you yet, it's fine, because we're going to cover them later down the line. So don't worry, let's cover them all one by one. So first things first, the premise. Let's understand what it is. Talent is invisible until it is communicated. Many of you might probably think that you're not talented enough, right? Your life seems boring to you. It doesn't seem like you've achieved much in life. It seems like you're a loser. Even if you don't think that you're a loser, it feels like you're somewhere in the middle, mediocre, someone who doesn't have anything special to talk about. However, when you start communicating what you've done, that's when you become talented. So being talented is not just about doing incredible things. It's also about being able to communicate those incredible things, right? So the unbranded candidate is never the one they fight for. They are the one nobody hears about. So around 70% of the opportunities move through networks and reputation, right? Long before a single application is read. So in my experience, when I was applying to universities in the US, my main branding was my niece. And yes, it's something very small. How could someone's niece, a cousin, could potentially be someone's portfolio or an achievement, right? So it's about the way I framed it. And the way I framed was, I taught 3 languages to a 3-year-old kid. That was one of my biggest spikes. I taught 3 languages to a 3-year-old kid, right? And the way that I represented it to universities was exactly like this. My personal statement, my extracurriculars, my main profile as a college applicant was teaching languages to children, right? So by the time, if anybody does not know the story of my niece yet, let me quickly explain it to you. So I basically, when my sister was pregnant, we started learning about early childhood development. We started learning about the principles of early education, cognitive development, etc. And we've come across this girl whose name was Bella, and you can search it up real quick right now. It's like Bella 7 languages on YouTube, and you'll see a young girl at the age of 4 who's speaking 7 different languages at a time without any mistakes, without much accent. And that's when we realized how powerful a human brain can be. And that's when we realized that we should learn this before my sister gives birth to my niece. And as soon as she gave birth, we started implementing those principles aggressively. Like we were full in, we were all in, we were trying to make our niece as intelligent, as brilliant as possible, right? And this process was not about education and teaching. This process is about games, right? Then the results were incredible. At the age of 3, my niece was speaking 3 languages. And by the time she turned 6, she had read 600 children's books. And that was incredible. One day, my sister was doing house chores, and my niece was going to her and asking her to read books. And my sister was, as she was doing the home chores, she responded that she can't do it now and that she would read a book before going to bed. And my niece was disappointed, but she waited. She waited for a few hours, so it gets dark, so the evening comes, right? However, my niece saw that my sister fell asleep, and she got so sad, and she started crying. She went up to my sister, she was waking up my sister, crying, saying, "You are a liar. You did not read a book for me before going to sleep. You went to sleep without reading me a book." That's how sad she was for not reading a book. And I think that happened at the age of 4 or 5. So these are the stories that I discussed in my personal statement. And these did not come out of nowhere, right? These come from effort, but also from self-representation. And self-representation usually comes by writing reflections. The more you reflect upon your past experiences, the better it is for you to understand your situation, to understand your profile, and further build your profile, build your story to make you a successful college applicant. And yes, I'm talking about some small things, and you wonder, so is getting into college about some small achievements like this? Well, yes. Anything that sets you apart from the majority is an accomplishment. Teaching languages to kids is what set me apart. It can be something else for you. It can be something completely different, right? Everyone has SAT. I have SAT. Everyone has an IELTS score. I have an IELTS score. As a matter of fact, I'm not very proud of these accomplishments, but if anybody is interested, I have 8.5 on IELTS and I have 1520 on the SAT. But if you noticed, I didn't even mention this when I was introducing myself to this presentation because it does not matter. Everyone has test scores, but it's those stories, it is those meaningful moments in your life that set you apart regarding college admissions. And I'm not talking about job applications because in job applications, it's a little different. It's more about networking. It's more about other factors that influence the decision. Now, a brand that works passes these 4 tests. So let's actually understand what these tests are. Number 1, it's about being accurate. Is it actually true about you? This is the first question that I want you to answer. So if you notice the story that I've told you, it's so true and it's so meaningful because it's personal. So in college admissions, it's not much about giving facts, but it's about being honest and real about your past experiences, because admissions officers cannot really show highlights of your life, cannot really see highlights of your life as a YouTube video. They simply do not have enough proof. So what they need to do is to build this trust for you. And Aristotle names it as 3 stages: athos, and pathos, and logos. Athos is trust, pathos is feeling, and logos is logic. So as long as you build these 3 things in your portfolio, in your application, then you basically pass the test. And regarding the last one, logos, logic, you don't need to be logical in your personal statements. You just need to be honest. You need to be true to your story. So as long as your story is accurate and honest, that's how you pass the first test. Second test is coherence. Please write it down. It's an important point to make. Coherence. Your application has to be coherent throughout. Do the pieces add up to the one story? This one story is usually referred to as overarching theme. Overarching theme is a very popular term which indicates, does your application add up to mean something one as a whole? Can your application be summarized into a single sentence? If the answer is yes, then successfully you have completed the second step, which is coherence. What does coherence mean? Your extracurriculars, your personal statement, your supplemental essays, your narrative, your, additional information section, everything has to add up to show you as a whole. If your extracurriculars say one thing, but your personal statement says completely something else, then it's not gonna work. So step number 2, coherence. Take it. So step number 3 is being compelling. Does it pull people in? Does it attract the audience? Does it attract your admissions officer? Right? Jasmina, could you please turn your microphone off? Because I think it's accidentally on right now. Because it's a bit distracting, right? And Rukhsara too, please keep your microphones off if you are not speaking. Yeah, I completely understand that you sometimes, unwillingly turn it on. And lastly, differentiate it. Does it show what only you offer? Does it show what only you offer? So one day before my admission result came out to Vanderbilt, I was telling myself, hey, Vanderbilt, you have to get me in. You have to accept me because I'm the student that you're looking for. And the thing that I'm talking about right here is about fit. This is especially true regarding job applications as well. Your values, your goals should fit the company's goals. Your values, your goals should fit the university's goals, right? So I was a student applying to Vanderbilt as someone who wanted to study cognitive science, who wanted to do research in this field, and who wanted to do master's and PhD and etc. in these fields. And Vanderbilt's Peabody College is consistently ranked as a top school, not just for undergraduate, but also for graduate schools for this major. So they were looking for students like me. They were specifically looking for students who were having plans on studying cognitive studies for the rest of their lives. So I was very determined on what I wanted to study. I knew what the university was looking for, so I just applied. And I tell this everywhere. I tell people, I got in because I applied. I got in because I applied to Vanderbilt. So by choosing which university to apply to, it's already half of the job. And I think by choosing which university to apply to and what major to apply to with, that's literally half of the job. The rest half is everything that we're discussing in here. So most students fail on the last one. So being different, right? Sameness is the real enemy. It's not a lack of skill, right? So, and the source is Harvard Business Review, HBR. Now, so the reason why it matters is they don't pick the most skilled one. Universities are not looking for the students who have the most skills or have the most, academic edge. They're not looking for that. They pick the most clearly understood and differentiated. So top university, clarity signals self-awareness. Clarity is about understanding yourself and understanding your case and understanding your future goals, right? Clarity signals self-awareness, being self-aware. That's number one. And number two is leadership. And these two combined, these are the traits that essays are scored on. Does the student understand what they want to do with their lives? And do they want to lead? And when I say leadership, I don't necessarily mean being a CEO, being a businessman, an entrepreneur. Because the word leadership is often misunderstood. You can be an employee and still be a leader. You can be a researcher and still be a leader. So when I ever say be a leader, I don't necessarily mean to be an owner of a company, because this is a very misunderstood concept. Because I hear some schools in Tashkent, some private schools, they often encourage people to be entrepreneurs. There are schools that have been open to produce entrepreneurs and leaders. Well, I don't agree with this idea, because not everyone has to be an entrepreneur. Because if everyone is an entrepreneur, then if everyone is the CEO, then who is the employee? And being an employee should not be underestimated. It should not be looked down to, right? Because employees are as important to companies' growth. If anything, employees matter more to the company than CEO does, perhaps, because they do more of the job. They put more in the effort, and they care more sometimes. And they actually are more intelligent in the fields that they pursue. So, yeah, be a leader in whatever field that you're in, even if it's not entrepreneurship. Rayhan, please turn your microphone off, but it's a bit distracting. Yep. So now, employers, a sharp brand lowers their risk. Clear beats impressive when they're deciding. So sometimes all you need to do is to be clear about yourself and about your goals. And the next is the room. You become the name people repeat when you're not there to repeat it. You become the name people repeat when you're not there to repeat it. So you have to be this distinguished persona in any environment that you're put in. You have to be distinguished. You have to have certain qualities that set you apart from the majority. Now, you're not trying to reach everyone, right? You're trying to reach, you're trying to be unmissable to a specific group of people. Name them, then build only for them. For example, the first group of people that you're trying to impress is admissions officers, especially if you're applying to top universities in the US or abroad. And not even admissions officers as a whole, but to your specific university, to your intended major. Not all of them. You cannot please everyone at a time. If everyone likes you, then you're probably not good enough, right? Because when you're good, then there definitely are people who dislike you or who don't see you as a fit. So if you're a good fit to all universities, then it basically means that you're not a fit to any. So yeah, do not aim all universities at a time. Have a specific list of schools that you're applying and make sure that you target the admissions officers of those universities and of those majors. So that's the first group of people that you need to impress. The second one is two or three professors whose research you actually cite and want to work under. This is the advice that we usually give at IVBAC. You need to email professors before you start applying to universities. You need to email them about their papers. You need to email them about the research that they do. You need to try to show interest to the work. And it has to be genuine. It should not be like fabricated. It should not be done for the sake of admissions only. It should be about trying to show interest and genuinely trying to learn from those professors. So when you apply, those professors can sometimes make a decision on your favor. Because I'm going to tell you a secret right here. Admissions officers at top universities, they usually work closely with professors. Because professors usually tell the admissions officers what type of students they're going to be looking for the next 4 years, let's say, for the next 2 years, 3 years. For example, I believe Peabody's professors had an impact in my admission. Because the Peabody's, at Vanderbilt, there are so many professors for doing the research in the fields that I want to pursue, right? So it's very obvious that admissions officers are going to look for students like me. So having an eye on what the professors are doing literally is a cheat code to getting admitted, right? You can see what the professors are doing and you can build your application around it, and your chances of getting in skyrockets. So if you're wondering who you need to impress, the answer is not everyone. Number one, the admissions officers in your intended major and a few professors whose research align with yours. Next step is the scholarship committees. And when I say scholarship, I'm talking about merit scholarships. Merit scholarships usually have their separate committees who are not the same as admissions officers, right? And these are the people who fund students with a clear fundable source. For example, Vanderbilt offers 3 main scholarships, if anybody does not know it yet. Cornelius Scholarship, Ingram Scholarship, and Chancellor Scholarship. These are full tuition and full ride scholarships offered to the most academically gifted students from around the globe. For example, my roommate at Vanderbilt, his name is Hossam, he has won a Cornelius Scholarship, right? Another student from, if I'm not mistaken, Tajikistan, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, yeah, if he's listening. So I have this acquaintance, his name is Mirzov from Tajikistan. He got into Vanderbilt this year on a full ride scholarship. And as far as I know, he also got a Cornelius Scholarship, which is a merit-based scholarship. So if you're also aiming at a merit scholarship, then you better understand the scholarship committees, what they're looking for, and try to build your application around what they are looking for. I personally did not need a merit scholarship. Did I apply? Yes, I did, but I did not need a merit scholarship because my need-based scholarship already was a full ride. So everything is being covered right now by my university, everything, like literally including the housing and tuition and student health insurance and food and everything is being covered right now, except the airplane tickets and of my personal expenses like clothing and stuff, which is going to be covered by me only. By my family, right? So yeah, scholarship committees is the next audience that you need to look for impressing. And lastly, recruiters in your field will search for one specific thing. Be that thing. So you need to understand what recruiters in your field are looking at whenever they try to read your application. So this last one is actually going to be covered in further classes because we have other people. For example, we have my colleague Hussan, who got recruited by some of the best companies in the world. He interned at PwC, which is a big four in econ and finance. I don't understand those econ terms, but the only thing that I know is the term big four, which is something like FANG and tech, right? It's like the FANG of econ and finance. So if anybody is into finance, I highly encourage you to visit my colleague Hussan's class because that's going to be full of information regarding getting recruited. But today's class is not that much about recruitment and it's more about getting into top universities. So first impressions matter. First impressions matter a lot. Let's take a look at 3 profiles, 1 per slide. Please don't draw because it is a bit, it distracts others. I know, guys, you're excited about the class. I know, guys, you're finding it probably interesting to follow, but please do not draw on the slide because others might not be able to pay as much attention as they would normally do. So let's take a look at 3 profiles and let's actually vote hire or pass. Okay, I'm actually going to ask in the chat if you want to hire this person or if you want to admit this person to your to your university or not. Imagine you guys are admissions officers at your dream universities, right? Let's actually either admit or reject student one by one. No overthinking. You do not need to worry too much about whether your decision is correct or not. And it's actually very easy because these questions are very rhetorical. This is very rhetorical, right? So if you guys are ready, let's go. Everyone in the chat, please accept or reject. Let's go. Write it in the chat, accept or reject. And you have no idea how common this LinkedIn page is. And this Aziz Karimov, he's actually a very, how to say, it's not a real person. It's not a real account. This is an imaginary account, okay? Imaginary person. Yeah, don't worry if your name is the same as this person or if Aziz Karimov is watching the recording of this session, let's say, don't worry. This is not about you. This is just an imaginary name, imaginary profile. So of course, you guys are right. This is an obvious pass. This is an obvious pass, and you have no idea how common this LinkedIn profile is. No info, no profile picture, no info at all. No activity, so it's very bad. Now, let's take a look at the second one and let's vote real quick there as well. So the noza. And this is even more common. This is like, I don't know, 50% of the LinkedIn profiles that I see have this trait. So are you going to hire this? So we have a wait list. We have a wait list. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. We have... Okay, this is an obvious pass. This is an obvious pass. Why, guys? Why? Please write your reasoning. Why? And again, if your name is Dilnaza Rashidova, then this is definitely not about you, right? This is an imaginary profile. Asilbek is saying there's no hook. But LinkedIn does not necessarily need a hook. It's not like a personal statement. But I understand your point, Asilbek. What you're trying to say is, there's nothing interesting to see, right? And yes, I agree. Sevinch is right. No evidence. Jawahar is saying every other person is like, of course, Jawahar, you're right. Asalbek is writing common. You're right. Begoyim, no clear proof. Exactly. She hasn't proven her experience. No concrete evidence. Shiny words. Yes, exactly. Our personality, Sevinch. These are the words that you should always avoid using because passionate, anyone could call themselves passionate. Anyone could call themselves results-driven team player. Anyone could call themselves hardworking. And these words are actually the words that you need to avoid. Please do not use these words. Do not use adjectives to describe yourself. Just write what you do. That's enough for us to understand if you're passionate. That's enough for us to understand if you care, if you're hardworking, etc., etc. Now, let's take a look at this profile. So, would you accept or reject? Would you hire or pass? Everyone, please write it in the chat. Hire or pass. All right, we have responses. Let me take a look at them. Oh, we're passing. I have a couple of passes. Why? All right, let me give my opinion, right? So this person is writing a general overview of what he does. He's saying, I help Tashkent cafes fill tables through Instagram storytelling. For clients, 120,000 plus reach. Social media lead freelance. 38% plus foot traffic in 60 days. So, number one, he's not using adjectives. Number two, he's being very specific about the job he does. And number three, he's giving numbers. He's giving actual data. He's giving, yes, maybe his profile is not very impressive. He has only 4 clients. However, he's being honest about the numbers. He's giving those numbers, right? So this is a hire. This is an accept. And of course, it depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on the company. It depends on the university. There is so much to take into account. We cannot decide whether the person should be admitted or not solely based on these small data, these small info. However, this person has a high potential to get admitted because of the reasons that I have just counted above. So, thank you everyone for being active. Let's move on. What drove your decision? What was the reason, right? So, number one, the ghost. Usually, LinkedIn profiles that don't have photos, that don't have proofs, or a generic headline, those are the ones that are generally looked down to, right? And nothing to judge, so the mind defaults to no. But one thing to take into account is in the modern hiring system, it's actually encouraged not to put your photo on your CV. You should not put your photo in CVs. This is one of the recent trends of the past few years, as far as I know, because companies realize that they are being biased towards certain races or certain appearances, right, of the people, and that's why they actually now prefer applicants who do not put their photos in their CVs. And it's not about being insecure about your appearance, right? It's general. Even if you rate yourself as a 9 out of 10, although I do not really support rating yourself or anyone, I'm just saying for you to understand, right? Even if you are very confident about how you look, it's still not encouraged to put your photo because that's what the trend is. That's what companies prefer. So the second reason that drove your decision is the buzzwords, like adjectives without evidence. Sounds like 10,000 others. Forgettable. It's very easy to forget that. And lastly, being specific is what drove your decision. A niche plus real numbers. Doing something very specific and proving it with real numbers. It's believable, it's credible and memorable. And it's very hireable in 10 seconds. So the point that we are trying to make here is you're judged in seconds. It only takes a few seconds, or like 10 to 15 seconds, for the admissions officers to decide whether you're the right person or not. Of course, they're not going to admit you in 10 seconds, but they might probably reject you in 10 seconds because a negative impression is very hard to fix, and the very positive or get you into your dream university. So design that second on purpose. So the 3 pillars, let's talk about the system and how it works as we have discussed earlier. So clarity, consistency, and visibility is important. Clarity is about understanding who you are. Consistency is about everything adding up as a whole. And lastly, visibility is about showing what you do on LinkedIn, on social media. It can be a YouTube channel. It can be a Telegram blog. It can be your CV, anywhere. You got to make sure that you are visible. You can be Googleable, right? You can Google my name right now and you'll find my video on Kunuz, which was viewed by 100,000 of people. You can literally look Jamshidbek Izzatulloh on Google right now, or you can do Jamshidbek Izzatulloh, right? I mean, either works because I use both. And you'll see my Kunuz video, you'll see my Osmondagi Bolalar video, which is one of the most popular podcasts in Uzbekistan. So you need to be visible, right? You need to attend. I mean, of course, it's not easy to be part of Osmondagi Bolalar community or be part of Kunuz video. Yeah, I understand. But even if you're not that big, it at least has to be something that people can Google about you. And the more visible you are, the more Googleable you are, then the easier for the people to make the decision for your favor. Now, don't look like every other application, right? Admissions officers has read passionate, hardworking leader 10,000 times. Like, let's be honest, right? And the way to stand out is to do the opposite of the crowd. So everyone does this. They list around it, which should not be the case. And the university, I started talking about my admission journey. And so many people started copying, right? So many people started doing projects which is very, very similar to mine. So many people started doing educational projects for the general audience, which I no longer recommend. And no, guys, last year's successful application case no longer works this year. Next year's successful applicant case will no longer be worth to follow then after 2 years. So you need to make sure that you do the opposite of what everybody does. So in order for that, you need to have an active network of what everybody is doing. Go to SAT centers, go to admission centers, and follow what others are doing so you can stand out, so you can be strategic about what extracurriculars you build and what profile you build, right? And you should not be speaking to everyone and landing with no one, right? Instead, the things that you can do is pick one spike, right? Pick something that makes you different, something that makes you unique, and make it loud, make it like sound big by actually making it big, right? And name a niche so specific that it's yours only, so nobody can compete. So, and there is this very famous rule in business and marketing. Instead of competing in an existing market, create your own market. Have you ever heard this rule before? Instead of in business and marketing, instead of fighting in an existing market, just create your own market and you'll be the best at it, right? So just name a niche. So you're the only one in your niche. You're the best one in your niche, right? When I was applying to top universities, I didn't know a single person who was applying with a neuroscience major, who was applying with a cognitive studies major, with a child development major. Not a single person was applying with that. Name a niche so specific. Okay, pair it with one unexpected dimension, right? Try to look at a common problem from a different angle, right? And lastly, speak to around 1,000. Be unforgettable. Do not speak to millions of people. Speak to a few select people, right? Now, the value equation, right? So it's about combining three skills, combining three things that give you value. Number one is skill, right? You need to be skilled at something. You cannot showcase something that you're not good at. I was good at teaching languages to children, so I used it as my skill. That's what I did genuinely well. And I combined it with my passion to learn about the brain. I combined it with my passion to teach about the brain to others. What you do without being paid. That's what I did as a non-paid, non-profit project, Mia Shinos. That's what my passion was. And there exactly was the market need. Parents in Uzbekistan need someone to teach them how to bring up their children, how to academically grow their children. So that's what the market needs. That's what the universities like to see, because universities value community impact. And that's what the employer wants. And interestingly, I have already been invited to do an internship at the Ministry of Preschool and School Education for the second time. I did my first internship at the Ministry of Preschool and School Education back in my grade 11. And now I've been invited to do another summer internship there. So yeah, employer wants it. Market wants it, university wants it. So as long as you combine skill, passion, and the market need, that's where you become irreplaceable. Unmistakable edge lives where all of these overlap, right? So say it in one line. This is the question that I actually asked the founder of this project, SkillSell, before this class. Like 1 hour before this class, I was talking to him about the project and I literally asked him this question. Describe your project in a single sentence. And this question can be asked from you. Describe yourself in a single line. Your personal brand should be able to be described in a single line. I help who achieve what through what, right? That's the question that you need to answer. Who do you help? What do you help them with? And how do you help them with? For example, I help early stage startups grow on social media through data-driven content. It could be an example, right? So just come up with your own. Come up with your own personal brand, which can be described in a single sentence, right? So here's a statement battle, right? Pair up, trade your one-line statement with a partner. Then test it. Is it clear? Is it memorable? Is it specific enough to only be yours? Because when I was talking to my students, whenever they describe their personal brand in a single sentence, I tell them, make it more clear, make it easier to follow, make it more memorable, make it more specific, choose one, do not do both, right? These are the questions which usually your mentors are able to give you, or your friends will be able to give you, right? And then refine it. The class rounds the top 3 statements, right? So the 3-word test is clear, memorable, and specific. So guys, there's actually so much to cover. There's actually so much to cover as part of these series as Skill Swap. I just am starting the very first class, right? I'm only getting started. I hope you guys have enjoyed the class so far. 30 people have actively followed this class. 40, 50 people joined. I'm very glad that there is interest. There are people who care about their future. I'm very glad that there are youth who want to improve themselves in a number of different ways, including by building their personal brands and getting into top universities in the US and etc. etc. Thank you very much everyone for following this class. Now it's your time to ask questions. Please let me know if you have any questions to ask, and I'll be very glad to address any of your questions. Please raise your hand or leave your questions in the chat. Shaukat is asking, have I published any research papers? No, I was not able to publish a research paper because by the time I did, I already got into my dream school at the time that I was writing my paper, so I did not have the need to publish. But as soon as I go to college, I'll try my best to publish a paper because that's what I'll be doing for the rest of my life, inshallah. What's the next chat going to be about? Asilbek, thank you very much for the question. Please go to the SkillSell channel on Telegram and please look at the agenda and you can see what the next topics are as part of this small program aimed at you. Do you have your own Telegram channel? Of course I do. I'm going to leave a link right here. It's t.me Jamshidbek Izzatulloh written together. You can find it on Telegram. You can find it on YouTube, Jamshidbek Izzatulloh. You can find it. I mean, I don't run Instagram, but I am on Instagram as well. Yeah, and I'll be very happy if you subscribe, if you follow. There are some very interesting content there as well. So do you have, okay. What are the chances to get into top unis if you start everything now? Well, it depends on how old you are, what grade you are, what your academics are, if you have a high SAT score, if you have your high GPA. So please let me know if those details before I can say anything. Does writing research paper consider as an academic rigor even without publishing? Publishing adds credibility. Without publishing, usually it's quite hard to make the reader believe in that. So yeah, please publish. Publishing is important. I mean, yeah, so many people say publishing is not as important, but I think it is. Should our activities be connected to our major? Preferably, yes, 7-inch. It's not a must, but preferably it's good if they are. How are cognitive sciences going? It's going great. Thanks for asking. It's all great. I'm taking 3 courses related to cognitive science. The first one is minds, brains, contexts, and cultures. The second class that I'm taking is developmental psychology. The third class that I'm taking is quantitative methods in psychology. So yeah, it's going so well. So the user is saying, SAT 1500 plus. Could you not specify it? IELTS 7.5, turning 11th grade. Yeah, I mean, you have very limited time. If you start everything now, you have to be very, very efficient with your time because we personally have so many students with the same things. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, very few people will get in, and it's only the people who work the hardest. So if you consider yourself hardworking, if you consider yourself disciplined and responsible and accountable for your work, you hopefully will get in. But Yale, like, nobody can say that they will get into Yale. I can't look at anybody's application and confidently say that they're going to get into Yale because Yale is one of those very selective schools for nobody the admission is guaranteed or even likely, right? For anyone getting into a Yale is unlikely according to the statistics, especially considering that you're an international student, especially considering that you are asking for financial aid. If you are, of course. If you're not, then yes, your chances are higher by a lot. If someone wants to major at STEM field now, AP exams play a role. They definitely do. Absolutely, Begoyim. AP exams definitely play a role, especially if you're coming from a Uzbek background. Is it true that your personal statement is the most important thing in my case, right? Yeah, I think my personal statement was really important. Maybe not the most, because it's very hard to say that before, but I'll hopefully, so follow my channel. I'll go to the admissions officer at Vanderbilt this fall and I'll ask this question. So follow my channel. I'll tell the results when I talk to the admissions office. If so, so do you have any courses that you sell regarding cognitive science? I mean, do you teach? I don't teach cognitive science yet, but please join my Mia Shanas Telegram channel. I can leave out a link right here. It's Mia Shanas _uz. I'm not selling, I'm doing it for free. We're trying to write articles on the early childhood education, on the brain sciences, and I'm sure that you'll find it useful. We have our channel as well. It's miashanas.uz. Please check it out. If you like it, please let me know. I'll be very glad to read your positive feedback. Okay, do you have any? Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Can you tell a bit about personal statement? No, I cannot. I can. Yeah, I appreciate your question, but it's not possible to tell a bit about writing personal statement because there's so much to cover. Last year, I taught a 3-month course on writing a personal statement. So what is taught in a personal statement is something that's actually taught in months and years, right? People spend years learning and practicing. So I simply will not be able to cover it in a few minutes, especially considering— It is Jamshidbek speaking. Thank you everyone for attending today's class. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. I express my sincere gratitude for the founder of this project, who is trying to help young people get into top universities and get attracted by potential employers. I do support this project and I highly encourage you guys to follow the coming sessions. Again, I was this first guest and I'm the first speaker only. There are so many incredible speakers coming down the line, so please stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I was not able to finish the meeting because my laptop ran out of charge. I hope you guys understand. Please let me know if you found this class useful, and I'll hopefully see you again sometime in the future. I don't know, probably not as part of this project because I'm just a guest right now, not a founder or anything, if anybody doesn't get it yet. But yeah, thanks for everyone who joined this class. You were very active today. You were very good with questions, so I'll hopefully see you again. Bye-bye.